Birth rates are at a 50-year low and still falling. The UN calls it an unprecedented decline. Is it just the economy, or is there something deeper going on here? Because let's be honest, kids are expensive, yes, but so is brunch in Tulum and the sheer cost of pretending to have your life together on Instagram. And yet, we keep choosing the avocado toast over the diaper bag. So here's the real question. Are we not having kids because we're broke? Or, according to the late Pope Francis, are we choosing not to have them because we are just plain selfish?
Childless by choice. A growing number of Millennial and Gen Z women are choosing not to become parents.
There's a movement happening. More and more Millennials and Gen Zers are going child-free by choice. We're not talking about infertility or unfortunate circumstances. No, this is a conscious, intentional, no thanks to baby showers, back to school nights, and the ultimate torture of listening to Baby Shark on repeat. You see it all over Reddit, TikTok, and friend group chats. I just don't want them. This isn't fringe anymore. This is mainstream. And the reasons? They sound legit. Cost of living, career goals, even climate change. More on that later. But what if those are just polite ways of saying, I don't want to give up my freedom? Today, we're diving into why people really don't want kids. Spoiler alert, it's not money. It's something much more taboo. Let's start with the facts. In 2023, the U.S. birth rate hit a 50-year low. Japan is giving away homes to young couples to encourage childbirth. South Korea is literally panicking. They have the lowest fertility rate in the world, 0.72. That's not even close to replacement level. In Italy, schools are literally closing because there just aren't enough kids to fill the classrooms. Whole towns are aging out like a dystopian Netflix series with no season renewal. In China, more adult diapers were sold than baby diapers in 2022. Let that sink in. We're producing more grandpas than grandchildren. But this didn't just happen overnight. Historically, having kids was the norm, almost non-negotiable. Agrarian societies needed big families. It was a labor strategy. The more kids you had, the more hands to work the land. And there was no social security. Your kids were your retirement plan. Back then, also, religious structures encouraged having lots of kids. You weren't just raising kids, you were fulfilling God's plan, growing the flock, passing the faith forward. Be fruitful and multiply wasn't a suggestion. It was basically your first homework assignment as a married couple. Even until the 1980s, being childless was seen as a bit tragic. Fast forward to today, books like Child-Free by Choice by Amy Blackstone and Why Have Kids by Jessica Valenti show us a cultural shift where autonomy, not obligation, is at the center of identity. Even Pew Research found in 2021 that 44% of non-parents aged 18 to 49 say it's not at all likely they'll have children. Not maybe later, not if I meet the right person, just nah. So, what are the reasons people give? Let's run through the greatest hits. It's too expensive. The world is falling apart. I want to travel. I'm not emotionally ready. I'm focused on my career. I don't want to pass on trauma. Honestly, I just don't like kids. These reasons make sense. We're in late-stage capitalism, which means everything costs more, delivers less, and comes with a monthly subscription, even happiness. Wages have stagnated, while the cost of living has skyrocketed. Housing, education, childcare. Many people feel like they're one layoff away from disaster, so the idea of raising another human is laughably unrealistic to them. Also, climate anxiety is real. In a 2021 global survey published in the Lancet Planetary Health, 59% of young people aged 16 to 25 said they were very or extremely worried about climate change. Over 1 in 3 said climate concerns directly influence their decision to have fewer or no children. Climate anxiety includes feelings of fear, helplessness, grief, and guilt, especially around bringing a child into a world facing rising temperatures, food insecurity, and social collapse. Celebrities like Miley Cyrus, Meghan Markle, and Prince Harry have publicly stated climate change as a reason to limit or avoid having kids. And let's face it, babies don't exactly vibe with your 7 a.m. Muay Thai class and freelance graphic design hustle. Quick pause. I want to hear from you. Do you want kids? Why or why not? Drop it in the comments. And no judgment here, just honesty. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. What if behind all the rational-sounding reasons lies a much more emotional truth? We don't want to give up ourselves. Having kids means sacrificing your time, your energy, your peace and quiet, your sleep, your dreams of spontaneous road trips and candlelit yoga retreats. And most of us, we've gotten used to centering our lives around, well, us. Think about it. Our generation grew up being told to chase passion, find ourselves, live authentically, and curate our joy. We moved from survival to self-expression. Why would we willingly sign up for something that guarantees discomfort and loss of control? I mean, babies don't care about your goals. They'll scream through your podcast recording, throw up on your new couch, and interrupt your morning meditation with a diaper explosion. This is where the S word comes in. Selfishness. Not in the evil villain mustache-twirling way, but in the very real, very modern sense of, I want to preserve my lifestyle. I don't want to suffer. I worked hard for this peace. But hold up. Let's not cancel selfishness just yet. Because here's a hot take. Selfishness might be rational, maybe even responsible. If you know you don't have the patience, emotional capacity, or desire to raise a human being, should you be having kids? Philosopher Christine Overall argues that the choice to not have kids is ethically neutral and sometimes even virtuous. So maybe the more selfish act is having kids because you want to see a mini you, or because society expects it, or because you're scared of being alone when you're 80. In other words, maybe being selfish isn't the problem. Maybe lying about it is. So what do you think? Is selfishness a valid reason to stay child-free, or is it just a cover for deeper fears? I'd love to hear your take. Drop it in the comments. Now, here's a spicy twist. Are parents selfish too? Let's be honest, plenty of people have kids for self-focused reasons. To feel fulfilled, to heal childhood wounds, to pass on the family name, to give their lives meaning because they're scared of dying alone. None of that is wrong per se, but it is about the self. And if you've ever heard a parent say, I just wanted to experience unconditional love, well, that's kind of about them, isn't it? So maybe selfishness isn't a child-free thing. Maybe it's a human thing. We just express it differently. Some of us want kids to complete our identity. Others want freedom to preserve it. I'll be real with you. I actually have a kid. Yeah, plot twist. I'm one of the few in my generation who made the leap, despite the cost, the sleep deprivation, and the existential crisis that comes from being someone's full-time snack dispenser. And I'll be honest, I'm probably a little biased. When I hear people say they don't want kids, a tiny part of me, just a sliver, thinks, is it really about the world being too cruel? Or are we just a little too addicted to comfort? Look, I get it. The world is chaotic. Life is expensive. And yes, there are so many valid reasons to opt out. But from where I'm standing, I can't help but feel like something deeper is going on. A kind of self-preservation impulse that gets dressed up in rational arguments. I say this as someone who's been on both sides. There was a time I genuinely thought I wouldn't have kids either. I liked my life how it was. I liked me, undisturbed, uninterrupted. But then I became a dad, and suddenly I had skin in the game. Actual skin, like DNA level investment. It didn't make life easier, but it did make it bigger. More chaotic? Sure, but also more meaningful. So yeah, I admit it. Part of me does think choosing not to have kids can be a little selfish. But you know what? Sometimes selfishness is just survival in disguise. And sometimes it's just selfish. The line isn't always clear. So here we are. Maybe the real reason people don't want kids isn't money, or politics, or climate doom. Maybe it's simply this. We want to stay the main characters in our own lives. And is that wrong? Maybe, maybe not, but it's real. So here's what I'll leave you with. In a world that tells us we can be anything, do we still want to be parents? Or are we just trying to stay free, in control, and uninterrupted? Whether you're child-free, child-curious, or knee-deep in diapers, this isn't about who's better. It's about who's being honest with themselves. Now, I want to hear from you. Is not wanting kids selfish or smart? Sound off in the comments. I'll be reading and responding.